Hurricane Otis came to the Mexican resort town of Acapulco. As a result of the weather, dozens of people died. The missing are still being searched for. The hurricane caused huge destruction. In the city, 200,000 houses were damaged, and there is almost no mobile communication. What is known about the consequences of the hurricane in Mexico? Hurricane Otis intensified very strongly. In a few hours, he turned from a tropical storm into a hurricane of the 5th category, the most powerful on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane scale. On the morning of October 25, it reached the shores of Acapulco. As a result of the bad weather, 39 deaths have been recorded. However, their number can still increase because rescuers and volunteers continue to search for the bodies of the dead even in the sea. People with serious injuries are transported by airplanes and helicopters. It will take years for the city to recover. In the city, with a population of 790,000 people, more than 200,000 buildings were damaged. A number of hotels and restaurants of one of the most popular resorts of Mexico turned into ruins. Preliminary damage from the hurricane is estimated at $15 billion. Experts say it will take years to recover. At present, the country's authorities are engaged in liquidation of the consequences of bad weather. In early September, the emergency regime was introduced in 3 districts in the south of Sakhalin due to heavy rains. More than 300 houses and schools were flooded. The bad weather left more than 2.5 thousand people without electricity. The powerful earthquake hit Japan, leaving people without light and transportation. In the footage shot by eyewitnesses, it can be seen how lampists dance in the streets from the aftershock, and objects in the homes of Japanese people fall from the surfaces. In Japan, on the territory of several prefectures, including the Tokyo metropolitan area, there was a powerful earthquake with a magnitude of 6.1 points. This was reported by Kyodo Edition with reference to the Japanese Meteorological Agency. According to the agency, the earthquake struck at 22:41 local time, 16:41 Kiev time, in some parts of Tokyo, Kanagawa and Saitama prefectures, with the origin in the northwestern prefecture of Chiba, at a depth of 80 kilometers. Authorities added that the quake caused blackouts in about 250 homes in the Japanese capital. Officials also said subway train traffic in Tokyo has been halted due to the quake. The earthquake also caught people at their workplaces. So, in the network appeared footage from one of the TV studios at the moment when the tremors began. There is no data on victims and injured in the earthquake at the moment. Earthquakes are a common phenomenon for Japan, one of the most seismically active regions of the world. This country accounts for about 20% of all earthquakes in the world, with a magnitude of 6 points and above. Heavy rains have hit Spain, with basements of houses and roads flooded in Catalonia. Torrential rains on Sunday and Monday affected other parts of Spain, and the storms will bring more rainfall in the coming days. Catalonia's fire department received more than 130 calls from local residents on Sunday to deal with the aftermath of the inclement weather, mainly due to flooding of buildings and cars and fallen trees. The storms also made adjustments to rail transportation. Fortunately, no one was injured. Heavy downpours also took place in the Balearic Islands, particularly Mallorca. On Sunday, part of the city of Palma was underwater. Strong winds and heavy rains are expected on the Iberian Peninsula as a result of the storm Babet approaching Western Europe. Israel's capital suffered from a flood. 2 people died. Heavy rain on Saturday caused a flood and transportation collapse in Israel's capital. 2 people died as a result of the flooding, WION TV reported. Many motorists were caught in water traps, and rescuers rushed to their aid. Emergency services said a man and a woman drowned after falling into floodwaters in South Tel Aviv. Videos showing cars traveling through flooded streets are circulating on social media. Difficult weather conditions have hampered strategic military operations amid the ongoing war between Israel and Hamas. A tropical storm has hit southern Germany. In Germany, the consequences of the rampant elements are being eliminated. A real tropical storm has hit the south of the country. Heavy rain was accompanied by strong winds. At the epicenter, the speed exceeded 144 kilometers per hour. The city of Lerich suffered most of all. The authorities obliged people not to go out on the street. Casualties among the population were avoided, but the hurricane scattered debris and tree branches, as well as destroyed several power poles. Earlier it was reported that in Udmurtia the hurricane left 30 settlements without electricity. 2 people were injured as a result of the disaster. Scary footage. On the Italian island of Ischia there was a powerful landslide. Rescuers are searching for the missing. A torrent of mud and debris that reached the coast early Saturday morning felled trees, engulfed buildings and dragged cars into the sea. Several people were killed in a landslide triggered by heavy rains on the island of Ischia, near Naples. A torrent of mud and debris that reached the coast early Saturday morning felled trees, engulfed buildings and swept dozens of cars into the sea. The body of a woman was reportedly found under the mud, with several other people reported missing. Dozens of homes were cut off, with rescuers hampered by bad weather. Resident Lisa Michiro told ANSA news agency, "We heard the rumbling at about 3 in the morning, then the first landslide came down, followed by the second at about 5 in the morning. It was terrible." Italian Interior Minister Matteo Piantedosi told reporters that the situation was very difficult and that the missing people were believed to be trapped under the mud flow. Up to 155 millimeters of rain fell in 6 hours. The Campania region, where the island of Ischia is located, has been experiencing heavy rain for several days. A weather warning for rain and strong winds is in force until Sunday. On Thursday, 2 people died in the region due to bad weather. An Argentine tourist drowned after falling into the sea during a coastal storm. Another person was killed by a lightning strike on a beach. Local authorities are urging residents to stay at home so as not to interfere with the work of emergency services. The morning was not the kindest for the citizens of Nizhny Novgorod. Since nightfall, the city was hit by a heavy downpour, which left the city stuck in traffic jams. A couple of hours later, the situation worsened. The rain was suddenly replaced by a powerful snowfall, which became a huge problem for drivers and those who were in a hurry to do business. By the way, there have been multi-kilometer traffic jams on the roads for half a day already. Forecasts of forecasters do not predict anything good until tomorrow morning. Just a few hours later, winter came to Nizhny Novgorod. The city was covered with a powerful snowfall, which even forecasters did not warn about. At this point, the roads were paralyzed even more severely. Only a few drivers changed their summer tires. With every hour the elements only gained momentum, and by lunchtime the snowfall spread like in the coldest days of winter. The situation was aggravated by the hurricane wind, which blew down pedestrians hiding behind umbrellas and trees. Because of the bad weather, more than 40 settlements in the region were left without electricity. It is not known how long Nizhny Novgorod residents will have to sit without light. According to the forecasts of the Ministry of Emergency Situations, wind and snow will remain in the region until tomorrow morning. And by the evening in the region is expected to be icy. Such an early snowfall is not quite usual for the region. As noted in the Regional Ministry of Emergency Situations, this year's snow fell 10 days earlier than usual. The forecast of weather forecasters, alas, is disappointing.